Hi everyone, welcome back to the Integrity Botanicals YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the VAPOUR quads for you. Today I'm going to be breaking up into two parts though. I'm only going to be reviewing 2 of the 4 quads just to make it a little bit more bite-sized, a little bit more digestible. And today we are going to be discussing the Intention palette, which is a nice cool tone palette with a pearly finished blue. And then we also have Archetype, which is a more warm tone palette that has a more pearly finished bronzy red. Now this formula is very tricky. It's very interesting. I think you need to know what you're getting into before you can kind of fall in love. So I'm going to be discussing that at length once I talk about the packaging, swatch all the shades for you, and then I will dive a little bit deeper. So packaging on these looks a little something like this. They are this really nice robin egg blue. I actually love the color scheme that they've chosen for all of their packaging. They're really sleek, really thin, easy to store. We do have the shade name here on the back. And then the only thing it does not have are the shade names of the eyeshadows. That's really only tricky for me relaying information to you, honestly. But that is why I point and I say, we're gonna use this one. When you open it up, you do see the nice large 4 eyeshadows here. You also get a really great mirror, perfect for getting ready on the go. I enjoy that feature, I always do. And I like that it's very minimal in design. My favorite part, however, is that these are magnetic closures, so you don't have to worry about them opening up. Really safe to travel with, and again, very, very thin and sleek. We're gonna start off with Intention today. All of the palettes from VAPOUR are vegan. They are free of talc, they are free of bismuth, oxychloride as well, and they are completely unscented. I will have a full ingredients list down below for you. But we're just gonna get right into swatches, and then I'll talk a little bit more about formula and what I have going on my eyes today. So in the Intention palette, we're gonna start right up here with the shade Heartwood. The shades are actually listed on the website, they're just not on the back of the palette, so I will be addressing them by name here in this video, but you'll know what I'm talking about based on swatches, as there are only 4 in the pan. First off is Heartwood. Heartwood is a really nice, slightly deeper, more purple toned taupe. This is a nice matte shade, perfect for building up the crease. I have definitely done that here today, but like I said, we will get into that. Then I have the shade Rose Quartz. Rose Quartz is again another matte shade, really nice bone shade that's perfect for the brow, helps blend out any colors. And what I like about this is that it is a beautiful amount of pigment. And what I mean by that is it behaves like an eraser, but not too strongly, where it's like you're blending your eyeshadow and you're like, that just covered up all my crease work. That's not really what I wanted. I kind of just wanted to diffuse the line, which is what I very much enjoy doing. It is that perfect in between that I love. Then we have the shade Lapis. Lapis is this absolutely beautiful low pearl finished blue. I do have this smudged on my outer corner here today. And then finally we have the shade Copal. Copal is a very nice, perfect kind of transition shade. It is a cool toned brown, you know, that is very, very natural. Looks like a shadow contour of your eye. And then you can go in and build it up further. So that is the Intention palette swatch. Let's quickly get into Archetype, and then I will discuss the formulation of these shadows at length. So for Archetype, we are going to start up right up here at the top with our low pearl finish shade. This is in Nutmeg. Nutmeg is a nice, more warm toned low pearl finish shade. This one is definitely not the most pigmented. I don't think the pearl finish on it really picks up either. However, you can get a little bit of warmth out of the eye out of it, so I do like it for that. I will kind of warm up the eye socket a little bit when I am craving a little bit more of a warm tone. Then right next door, we do have the shade Clove. Clove is a nice dark brown matte. Again, this one is pigmented, but all of these shadows, which I will discuss further, are buildable. They're not immediate full-on pigment, which I think makes the palettes really approachable, but maybe not like knock your socks off, like, wow, it's the best eyeshadow I've ever used. But we'll get into it because I do have them on today. I think they blend really, really beautifully, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Next up, we have the shade right here. This is in Cinnamon. Cinnamon is another matte shade. Cinnamon is a slightly more warm tone, medium tone brown. Again, this would be the transition shade of the palette. I do like the way that they're formulated with the transition shade, a brow bone shade, you know, a pearl shade and then a matte shade as well, at least in the circumstance of these two palettes. So finally we have the shade Ginger, which is another matte shade, and this is another brow bone shade. I really like that they keep that in mind when they are creating the palette, because I think that's absolutely necessary and allows them to be more of a one and done option. Now, as you would have been able to tell from the swatches, these are not terribly pigmented upon first pass. I will say I do think these formulas applied better with a brush. I am wearing them on my eye today. You can see there's absolutely color payoff, like across the board. I have a pretty neutral look that I'm working with here. Mind you, the colors in here are quite neutral as well. However, I still like them, and I'll tell you why. So I think that these remind me of the Lily Lolo palettes, not really the formulation, but kind of the concept of how they're set up. And they're just really approachable eyeshadows. Nothing is overly pigmented. You don't really have to worry about blending anything away. You can work in really small layers as well as build up the product. Now, something you will definitely notice when you put your fingers in these powders, specifically the Archetype palette. I think the Archetype palette is definitely a more repeat offender of this, specifically the matte shades as well. And this happens with a lot of natural shadows that are not formulated with talc due to the way that they're pressed, but there is a lot of kick up in the pan. So I do like to make sure that I am knocking off any sort of excess product. You will get a lot of it build up here in the pan. You can just kind of blow it away, dust it off. But when products are loosely packed like that, and I don't mean loose like it's going to crumble loose, they blend really nicely. So I think the blend of these shadows, once you get them built up to the way that you want, I think is beautiful. The only shadow that I'm not terribly in love with is going to be this top one right here. This is in the Archetype palette. That is that low pearl shade. However, I could still make it work. I do still think it has a function. If I was to pick of the two, I do prefer Intention, absolutely. I also think the blue in there is really fun. However, they're all usable and workable. You just do need to know going into it that you are not going to get this insane color payoff. Now, what I did on my eyes today to sort of, you know, preach what I'm talking about, to practice what I'm preaching, I first went in with the Intention palette here, and I started off with the shade Copal. Now, Copal I just took through the crease, nice and easy. I like to pull it out in sort of this shape, and it gives a really natural contoured look to the eye, which I love. Then I went in, I wanted a little bit more something warm, so I kind of went into the Copal of the Archetype palette, which is called Cinnamon. And Cinnamon is a very similar tone, it's just a little bit warmer. So I went ahead and built that up just a little bit. And then I went in here with this top right shade. This is the shade Rose Quartz from the Intention palette. It is a little bit more grand. You can see I do have quite more of a cool tone look than I typically do. And I built this up ever so slightly. Now they're all blending to perfection. I could of course build it up further. That was just not my desired look for today's video. Like I said, I do want to show you a video of me using these in action. I just want it to be very word heavy. I kind of want to talk you through everything I'm doing. So I thought it'd be better suited to a different video. That way this one is not incredibly long. You know what I mean? So anyway, keep your eyes peeled for that. Anyways, the blend on these is my favorite thing. And like I said, a more loosely packed shadow will allow you to have that more nice blend, as opposed to like the Lily Lolo shadows. Those are very firmly pressed, so they build up as well, but sometimes you can't get as nice of a blend. So these give you a much nicer blend, in my opinion, and they're a vegan option as well, which I think is great. Moving right along, I did go ahead with this top right shade here in Clove. Clove is a dark brown. Now this dark brown is the most buildable of all of them, and that's what I love about it. So I finished everything off with Clove, and that is where you're gonna see it's the darkest, just right here. That really added that little bit of definition that I really, really needed out of this look. Then on the eyelid, and this is one of my favorite shades, honestly, as far as all 8 shadows I'm discussing today. Up here we have the shade Rose Quartz in the Intention palette. I took this on the brow bone and the lid, and what I love about it is that it looks like the color of my skin. So it's really, really natural. It looks like, oh, I just have a little eyeliner on and a little mascara, and that's all. And that's kind of what I was going for, but it still has a really nice sculpted eye look because I slowly had built up all those products. And I did so exclusively with the Delium Tool 785 brush, by the way. So it was just that easy. It was really simple and incredibly quick. Now, the star of the show is actually Lapis, and Lapis actually has a nice pigmentation to it, especially when it's applied with a brush. So I did go in with the Cure Wise blue eyeliner to act as a bit of a base, and then I smudged it out with Lapis here. I don't think the pearl finish is really picking up too intensely, if I'm honest with you. It's definitely there a little bit. It has almost like a satiny finish to it that I enjoy. But overall, I am a fan of these palettes. I think if you want the most intense, pigmented, right out the gate shadows, these aren't going to be it. I would try something more like an Aether Beauty shadow or something like that to get a little bit more rich color payoff. But if these colors are speaking to you, you're more of an everyday girl, you want something that's easy, not intimidating at all, these are going to be the shadows for you, and I will absolutely be discussing that here in the video. But you do need to keep all of that in mind, and that's why I wanted to discuss them. I'm going to be discussing the other two as well. The other two have more shimmer to them, and there's a little bit more color payoff, absolutely. So I'll be discussing that shortly. So if you've tried these products, let me know what you think. I know they are a little bit more of a pretty penny, hence why I say if you think you're going to be getting your daily use out of them, they are absolutely worth it. But I am excited to be using these in tutorials for you. I really like the eye look that I have on today. This is a good everyday eye look. If you'd like to see it, please do let me know and I'll bring that to you. But there is a lot of newness as far as Vapour is concerned, and I am enjoying quite a bit of it. So let me know what you would like to see reviewed next. The other two quads are absolutely coming, and then maybe I'll do an eye look kind of dipping into all four of them. Let me know what you think about that idea. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Let me know your experience with the new Vapour 2.0 line, these quads specifically. Check the description box down below for everything I have here on my face, as well as any products that I mentioned and makeup that I'm wearing, and all of our social media as well. I include it all in the description box down below, so check it out. Let me know any questions, comments, concerns you have. Thank you so much for watching. We are back to regular scheduled programming, so please make sure you subscribe. I upload here twice weekly, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye!